In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to use the floating sidebar sharing location in Monarch. The floating sidebar is a floating list of buttons that have a fixed location so that they follow you as you scroll down the page. So if a user is reading your post, you can see here that these floating sidebars follow them as they read the post, and if they're enjoying the post, then it gives them a very easy way to share, since those buttons are always very easily accessible, which makes it a very powerful sharing location. Now, to enable this sharing location, you're going to want to go to the Tools Monarch Settings page in your WordPress dashboard. And the first page you're going to be greeted with is the Manage Locations page that has all the different sharing locations that you can enable with this plugin. And you're going to want to enable the sidebar location. So click here, and you're going to see the green check mark there. That means that the location is enabled. Once it's enabled, go over to the Sidebar Settings tab here to configure that sharing sidebar. Now you have various options here. You can choose the icon style, the icon shape, and you can also adjust some display settings here, such as the intro animation, the various, you can choose which information to display, the share counts, the total shares. You can adjust the icon spacing. You can also hide on mobile devices, and you can adjust some color settings if you want to use custom colors, and you can choose where you want this sidebar to appear based on the different post types that you have registered in your WordPress installation. So let's play with some of these settings and show you how they work. First of all, the icon style. This changes the hover animation of the sidebar, and you can preview all those these different hover animations right here in the dashboard, which makes it easy to choose the one that you like the best. So just test all these out and decide which one you like best, and then click on it to select it. So I'm changing to this slide animation here. You can also choose your icon shape, whether it be square, rounded square, or circle. So I'm going to change over to a normal square from the rounded square that we had before. And I'm going to save these changes, and we can take a look at them here. So as you can see, the animation has changed, and as has the shape. We no longer have the rounded corners. Coming back to our settings here, and moving on down to the display settings section, you can choose the intro animation. So right now we have it set to fade in, but you can choose to have it slide up or down or in from the right. And that will be triggered when the page is loaded. You also can choose to display share counts if you want to. So if we enable this, then below the icon is going to show how many times that page has been shared. Now you can also set a minimum display count, which is a threshold that the shares must be reached before the count is displayed. So if you have a new blog and you don't have that many visitors yet, and your post therefore is not getting that many shares, it might have 0 or 1 or 2 shares per network, well, you might not want to display the number 0 there, because it might actually, the social proof might actually work against you a little bit. Someone's coming to your page and they're seeing a bunch of zeros. They must think, oh, this page, no one likes it, no one shared it. So if you want to avoid that, then you can set a minimum count here. So let's say we set this to 30, and you have this page and it's been shared 30 times on Facebook, and it's only been shared once on Pinterest and once on Twitter. Well, in that case, you're going to see 30 shares for Facebook, and the Pinterest and Twitter buttons, it won't display any number at all, which is better than displaying 0, some would argue. And if they go to your next page and your next page hasn't been shared at all, then there won't be any zeros there at all. There will only be a share count displayed when that threshold of 30 is met, and you can adjust that threshold as you like. So I'm going to set this back down to 0 and save it so you can see those share counts. So refresh here, you can see all the zeros down here. Since this particular page that I'm working on my test installation has not been shared, so I have a bunch of zeros there, but if your page had been shared, you'd have the share counts shown there. Next up, we have the total shares. So you can choose to display total shares, and that will tally up all the shares from all the different networks and display a total share count above all your icons. And you can, in addition, you can choose the color of the text used for that share count. Since it's actually floating above the icons and has no background color, the background color will be decided by the background color of your page. So if you have a dark website, you might want to change your text to light. And if you have a light website like we do, we're going to keep it dark. So I'm going to save that to show you the total share count. Obviously, again, the total shares are 0, but if you had various shares in various networks, they would be tallied up here at the top. And since we have a white background website, that dark share count looks nice. But if, for example, your website had a dark gray or a black background, you might want to change that to light and make that text white. Moving on, we have the add spacing option. If you select this, it's going to add a bit of margin between each of the buttons, as you can see here. It's just a style, and it's up to you what you like best. And finally, we have the hide on mobile devices. If you, for whatever reason, you think this floating sidebar will be too annoying on mobile, or you don't care so much about having sharing buttons on mobile, at least this particular location on mobile, you can disable it and leave that up to whatever other location you have enabled. Finally, we have our custom colors. So by default, each button will be the color of the network, decided by whatever color that network uses for their logo. But if you want to customize the color, if you think those colors are a bit too glaring, having that kind of rainbow effect is kind of hurting the design of your website in your opinion, well then you can customize those colors. Select the Use Custom Colors option and then customize any of these 4 color settings: the background color, the hover color, the icon color, and the hover icon color. So the background color will adjust the background of all the different buttons. So I'm going to change it to red and show you what that looks like. Here they've all changed to red. If you change the background color, hover color, let's say change it to yellow. Now when I refresh, the color is red, and when I hover over, it turns to yellow. And so you can adjust those settings, as well as the icon color and the hover icon color to go along with those hover colors to match your design. Finally, we have our post type settings. Now this determines where that floating sidebar appears on your website, and you can do it on a post type basis. So by default, WordPress has 2 different post types, and those are posts and pages. So right now we have it enabled on both posts and pages, but if we were to disable it on posts, for example, and keep it enabled on pages, well, we come back to our post here and refresh, that sidebar is gone, but we go over to our page. Let's say this is like our home page or an about page. Since we have those sidebars enabled for the page post type, they display here. Now you can see we also have a third post type shown here because we are registering a custom post type with our theme, which is Divi. It has a project post type that it uses for our portfolio module. Now, depending on the different plugins you might have enabled or the different theme you're using, you might have various post types, and you can choose where to display the sidebar based on those different post types. For example, let's say you had a website with a WooCommerce storefront, and WooCommerce uses a unique post type called product, and that product post type would appear here. And let's say you wanted to enable that floating sidebar on your blog, so you enable posts. You don't want it on your home page and your about page, so you disable page, and then you could enable the products post type, and then the sidebar would only be displayed on your blog and on your WooCommerce products. So it really depends where you want that sidebar to appear. It's up to you. And that's a basic overview of the sidebar location in Monarch.